I've been in business for 15 years, and I run hands down the best personal chef business in the whole Charlotte area, right? And I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've ever had someone say they found us on social media.
Where are high-paying clients typically looking for personal chef services, and how can chefs position themselves to be visible in these spaces?
If you think about a wealthy client, an executive, a busy person whose mind is on their money and their money's on their mind, they have money they don't have. Hey, on this episode, I am going to teach you everything you need to know about how to get high-paying clients for your personal chef business. Now I'm here with my friend Cynthia once again. Hello.
Hello, Chef Lisa.
We're going to chat up some good stuff today about how to get in with the right folks.
Absolutely. I feel like this might be a challenge for a lot of personal chefs up and coming, as how to go after the high-paying clients for their personal business.
Yeah.
So with that being said, where are high-paying clients typically looking for personal chef services, and how can chefs position themselves to be visible in these spaces?
So if you think about a wealthy client, an executive, a busy person whose mind is on their money and their money's on their mind, they have money, they don't have time, right? They don't have the mental bandwidth to go back and forth with somebody. They need to make it, I need this done, but I need somebody to make it easy for me to get it done, make a decision, pay, and get out. They're going to likely Google personal chef near me, personal chef in the area, personal chef at the lake, whatever the case may be, right? And they're going to see what comes up, look at the reviews, go on a website. It speaks to them. It gives them the vibe they're looking for, and it's easy to book, right? If there's no pricing or menus, there's nothing on there to give you a sense of, like, I'm going to have to do work to make this happen, I'm going to the next website. They also use concierge services, concierge and personal valet services. So, for example, like American Express concierge services or something, they use their services to book experiences as well. So, but my teaching and my general rule is, you don't find them. You need to make yourself able to be found, and then when they find you, you got to nail your message.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So don't chase.
I mean, it depends on your ideal client. I will say that but right now we're talking about the high paying client,
right?
Specifically. So high end private dinner parties, vacation chefing, the things, if some of your services may not actually be your target client necessarily. Depending, right? Like if I'm doing a fun girls' night out cooking class type thing, I'm probably looking at a 28 to 38-year-old female, and they are on Instagram looking for experiences or what have you. So so just in general, we're talking about high end clients, private dinner parties, vacation chefing, that type of thing. Then they're likely doing a Google search or having their assistant do a Google search, see who comes up, see who has the highest reviews, and then the website has the look and the feel of something high end.
Okay. So how important is social media for attracting premium clients, and which platforms have you found to be most effective?
I've been in business for 15 years, and I run hands down the best personal chef business in the whole Charlotte area, right? And I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've ever had someone say they found us on social media. And we have a Facebook page, and we have an Instagram page, and we keep our content up and congruent, like with our website. But again, high-end wealthy folks aren't searching. They're not, first of all, wasting time on social media because they're making money, right? And so they're usually not doing things that waste time or distract them, right? So they're not searching, they're not scrolling, they're not doom scrolling Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So that's not where they're going to find your service. So when you're doing all this social media and all that stuff, you're attracting a younger, broker crowd, and I'm not saying that just never, like, it's never like you don't need social media. You do need social media. It's like a garnish on a plate. Like, a plate don't look right without it. This is the main thing. No,
Oh, okay.
not for high end.
Not for high end.
Not for
So
high end.
let's be distinctive about that. Not for high end clients. Okay. So it has its place, but not for high end. All right. What role does networking play in finding high paying clients, and what specific networking strategies have worked best for you?
I will say that when offered opportunities to contribute to charitable organizations, the American Cancer Society, or even certain local organizations that are high profile people contribute to and go to these galas and events or auctions, I'll always donate a service to an auction because the people that are at those auctions, are definitely my ideal client. Networking specifically, like going into places and networking, I have had clients of mine that have success at being part of the Better Business Bureau or the Chamber of Commerce. Sorry. I've had clients of mine be successful with their local chambers of commerce because they do have like networking events and whatnot. But you typically are, in those cases, networking with other business owners that are also trying to market their businesses, of course, right? So, I've done some print advertising. I've done mailings in the past. Nothing has been as effective as my website.
Okay. So, okay, how do you verify? Once you find a high-end client, how do you verify, or who you assume is a high-end client, how do you verify that they actually can, afford your services?
Oh, that's easy. When I get the cha-ching on my phone that the invoice is paid. Is that a trick question? What do you... When the invoice is paid, that's the verification I need. When it's paid in full, that's because that's what I require. There's no deposit. There's no... that's not true. There's sometimes 50% deposit if it's early, but it's it's just we set our business up and we present ourselves as a high-end business. Our prices are clearly posted, our menus posted. We have photographs of our events, of pictures of our food and how it's plated. We have even video reviews on our website where after an event I may ask a client, would you mind giving a review? And they give these amazing reviews. So the clients kind of vet themselves, because if they call after seeing a $275 a person price point, then they're in the game. You know what I mean? Like they've called, they've inquired. Usually they're inquiring to just see if we're available for their date at that point.
Okay. Is there a specific language that you would use to attract high-end clients?
Yes, absolutely. This is where that ideal client work comes in, to identify what type of language do they use, what do they say, where do they look for information, what is it that you need to know them like the back of your hand. So we never say dinner or meal, we say dining experience. We say I never use the word buffet, even if it is like a grazing board or we'll say a displayed event. So just language that sounds upscale. Our mission is feasting, so we always use, the feasting language, or gathering or something like that. And the names of our dishes, right? So this is where when we talk about culinary school and no culinary school, and I get that question a lot. And you don't need the culinary school, but you do need to have the language. Because if I were to describe a dish one way, I don't even know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say a salmon patty with cream sauce and green beans, right? Or I could say a Cajun and lemon scented salmon croquette with a Cajun or with a Creole mustard cream sauce, or Dijon cream sauce with sautéed haricot vert. It's literally the exact same dish. But which one sounds more expensive?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or better for that matter, yeah.
It sounds like it's gonna taste better than it sounds
Right.
like, right?
Right.
But it's the same dish. I just chose to describe this one with verbiage that sounds that my ideal clients are used to that verbiage, right?
Yeah.
And so descriptions matter. The words do matter.
Yeah.
If I am just, to give the contrast, if I am doing a fun sip and cook girls night out cooking class, and that's one of the services I offer, I'm going to say fun. I'm going to say chocolate martinis. I'm going to say take Instagrammable pictures. Like, I'm going to talk the language they need to hear.
Right.
So it doesn't matter who your clients that you're going after are, just speak their language. That's how you become a client magnet. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I can truly say from experience that the language you speak when it comes to food, so what you describe, it already puts you like, oh my God.
Like I gotta have it.
Because like, like with Renee, she's a food person.
Yes.
So when she reads a description of what you have written, she's like, oh my God, that sounds so doggone good. Oh, I can't wait till I get to one of her pop-ups.
And guess what? It's intentional.
I know.
That's intentional. There's that word again.
Well,
intentional.
Right.
It is intentional because if you think about it, how many times have you seen a menu for a restaurant? You just happen to put it somehow, and it sounds amazing, and you immediately do it. Call people, send it, like, yo, we have to go here. Girl, I will pure tea get on a plane. I will plan a whole vacation, like a whole trip out of the country to go to a restaurant because I saw the menu. That's the power of a menu. And so...
that's the power of a successful personal chef.
Hey, have you ever wondered what type of personal chef business is actually the best fit for you? Like, should you be doing private dinner parties, meal prepping, or vacation gigs? Look, I got you. I created a free quiz that will tell you exactly which business model makes the most sense for your lifestyle, your strengths, and your goals. And it takes just 2 minutes to complete. At the end, you'll get a personalized roadmap that'll show you how to earn more while working less and the exact steps you need to get started. Don't waste time guessing. Hit the link in the description, take the quiz, and start building the personal chef business that's right for you. What is the power of a successful personal chef? That is a secret to getting high-paying clients.
Right.
Because it's the way I can say a fruit and vegetable platter, or I can say a premium fruit and vegetable display with fruit carvings. And literally one is $7.95 a person, one's $25 a person. Because of the way I described it.
Right.
And so I will say this, because it's a little bit on the subject. I don't know if you may be asking this question, but it's definitely on the subject of high-end clients. And this is something that I realized being a woman of color and being that most of the people I coach, mostly all women. That's like 99%. I let a couple guys slide past. But they're cool. And definitely like mostly women and 95%, black and brown women. And that's just who resonates with me, right? Or I resonate with them. But I realize in coaching that my background, having grown up in a mixed neighborhood, but grown up in a white neighborhood, in fact, right? From the time I was 8 years old, in third grade, I was the only black girl on the bus, only black girl in my neighborhood, only black girl on my street, only black girl on my softball teams, and Girl Scouts, etc., and doing sleepovers and all that. So I was used to being in these places, in these homes, in these spaces.
Yeah.
It doesn't intimidate me. It doesn't, like nothing like that, right? But what I didn't realize or I didn't think, of course I knew that was a normal upbringing maybe in the 70s for a black child, right? But what I didn't really realize is that, just in talking with women, the country, that is actually sometimes a fear, right? It's like when I talk about high-end clients, they're like, these people let you come in their house. I mean, you can go into these neighborhoods. Like there's a little bit of a block there. So I feel like it's like, I want to say that and talk about it. When I say, high-end clients, I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm not talking about, sometimes people think, oh, I want to cook for celebrities. Well, if your ideal client is a celebrity, like how many celebrities do you think you're going to run into? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you need a wide enough swath
Mm-hmm.
of people to fit into your ideal client bucket to make it that multiple six-figure business. But I just, when you craft yourself and you put in the work to be a high-end personal chef, it doesn't matter. People want to support a minority-owned business. They want to support a woman-owned business. Again, we just have to show up and actually deliver on the promise.
Right. Okay, good stuff. Very good stuff.
Excuse me, because I thought this was on Do Not Disturb. I really did. What happened? It was vibrating.
No. Okay. I don't think I asked number 6. How can personal...
Thanks.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
How can personal chefs leverage referrals from existing clients to find more high-paying opportunities?
That's really super important. It is easier to, first of all, keep a current client and make them a recurring client than it is to obtain a new one, right? And referrals and word of mouth, I should say, but it's not really that. But if you think about it, I'm doing a dinner party for 12 people at this event. It's on the golf course, whatever the case may be. It's a nice, wonderful home, wonderful kitchen, amazing people, and they are my ideal high-end client. Well, the 2 people who live there that hired me, they're the host, but there's 10 other people around that table right there who also, they're experiencing the service, they're experiencing the food, they're amazed. So I need to be prepared right then to actually, not only offer a card, I actually have QR codes on my business cards. I am interacting with them. This is a learned skill now to and I work on it with intention. I subscribe to channels that teach you charismatic conversation and how to command a room and things of that sort. I actually made it, like a mission, and it wasn't like, it didn't take that long, but once you decide that you're going to remember people's names, then you can remember their names. And the sweetest sound to anybody is their own name, right?
Facts.
And so when you walk into the room, I'm going to give you some secret sauce right now. Love on the kids and love on the dogs. Honey, you win like Flynn then. You know what I'm saying? Love on the children, love on the pets. And then call people by name. Introduce yourself and remember their names. Oh, okay. Well, Susan and Jim, how do you know, how do you know Erica and Tom? All right. And where are you all from? Okay. Well, I'm Chef Lisa. Just make yourself comfortable. I'm taking over the kitchen for the night. So, so I continue to call them. Well, this second course now, Susan, Jim, how are y'all feeling, about that last thing? And they're like, she remembers our name, And so, it's like, we gotta have that person at our house when we have something. You know what I mean? We gotta get them who, and you're leaving the cards and you're asking, we'd love to, this is what we do. We do private in-home dining experiences. When you want to celebrate life's moments, think of Heart and Soul, and here's our cards. So you actually make the ask, right? Sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes people trying to clean up and get out of there, honey. You know what I mean? But there's opportunity there. And that's where a little bit of, being able to schmooze a little bit, being able to not be, I'm kind of touching a lot of points on here, but to not be so in the weeds and so disorganized and so, like you have to really focus on getting your courses out so you can't interact with the guests, right? I make sure I have a comfortable environment. I bring help with me. I never go to anything alone because I want someone taking care of the guest. I want to be chilling in the kitchen, relaxed, so that when guests come in, it doesn't bother me. It's not interrupting me. I know I can turn that gas off and turn around and have a whole conversation, and I know I'm on track with my productivity. There's a lot of layers to all of this, but the reason I bring up these extra things, all of it ties together.
It does.
All of this is what creates a high-end experience. And so then for all of this is what attracts a high-end client and retains a high-end client who will use you again and again and again. And their friends and their colleagues, whoever's attending their events, will use you again and again and again. I've had people sight unseen, nothing heard, call and say, yeah, we one of our neighbors told us that you were the best, just call you and then just drop $8,000 on an event just because They said they said they had you, they used you, and so if you show up and you let people know this is what we do, and we love your referral. Ask. We'd love you to let any friends that you have, anyone that you know loves to entertain, share our information. So it's just really important to be prepared to do that and be intentional again about doing that.
Yeah.
I feel like a parrot saying intentional, but hey, if you're on this journey to turn your passion for cooking into a real business, you don't have to do it alone. You need to join the Chefanista Collective. This is the place where you get the support that you need to accomplish the dream that you have. There are live masterclasses that take place, tons of resources in there, but the most important thing is you get to meet other chefs on the same journey, and we're in there celebrating our wins. All that's missing is you. This is your community, this is your tribe, and it's your time. So I'm offering you a 14-day free trial so you can hop in and see for yourself, because this is something that really can't be explained. It has to be experienced. This is the way you get this done faster, stronger, and better, because we do it together. So click the link in the description below to join the Chefanista Collective completely risk-free.
A lot of what you're saying is also basic principles of connection, because you have to think about how it makes you feel when you're in an environment and someone says your name.
Yes.
And I say basic principles because it doesn't matter whether you're doing what you do or whether you're walking into a store and you're dealing with a clerk who seems to have a little attitude or whatever the case may be, and you'd be amazed at how just saying their name really changes sometimes their perspective and how it all of a sudden just shifts.
Shifts their mood.
Yeah, it really does.
Just shifts
it really
their
does.
mood right away.
Yeah, or when you say thank you, and interacting with the kids and they love it when you interact with the pets now.
The kids and the pets.
Oh yeah,
honey.
the kids and the pets.
Them
Yes,
pets.
they don't have to lock their pets away because you're coming in.
Right.
Yes.
That gets that gratuity out, honey. I'm telling you. And to your point about the whole name thing, like when I was in Mexico City, I mean, there's cafes on every block has 2 or 3 cafes. Almost more cafes than were in Paris, right? And so, but I would walk to this specific cafe, little tiny thing, wasn't the fancy thing that had no place to sit or anything. But I would walk up and they go, "Oh, good morning, Lisa. You want such because I'd gone a few times and they knew my name. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to the place where they know my name.
Right.
It wasn't a better coffee. It wasn't closer. You know what I mean? You want to go to a place where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
So when you're able to do, it's just impressive.
It is.
It's just an impressive thing, and it's really easy. People are, I'm not good with names. That's a lie that you told yourself because you don't bother to try to remember someone's names. But those are specific techniques, and I actually like those. I bring all of this stuff into my training. When we do our confident and charismatic conversations workshops, we're doing an exercise like that. Like, it's just an intentional thing. Like if I meet you, Cynthia. Make sure you're saying it right. Make sure you got it right. And it's Cynthia, right? Okay. No, I said Cynthia. Okay, I'm sorry, Cynthia. Got it. Make sure you're saying it right, and then say it 3, 4 more times before you walk away from her. Oh, that's awesome. Where are you from, Cynthia? You know what I mean? And then,
you can turn that into a whole.
And you just keep going.
A whole different level of connection.
Absolutely.
That's a very unique name. Where did you? Where did that come from? Those types. of things. So,
exactly. But if you do that 2 or 3 times before you walk away, and then even if you walk away, it's just like, okay, that is Cynthia. And every now and then I look back around the room. It's Jason, Cynthia. You know what I mean? Just in my own. But I'm intentional about it.
Right.
Because I know the power of an hour and a half later when I'm on the 3rd course and I say that person's name. Not only are they wow, right? The host. It makes them look good. Anything that you do that makes their guests feel good makes the host look good. This is just putting you on game right now, right?
Right.
It's just putting you on game. I mean, it's true hospitality is what it is.
Yeah. That's awesome. Good stuff. Again. All right. So what partnerships with other luxury service providers like event planners, realtors, etc., have helped you connect with premium clients? And is it necessary?
Well, I feel like as much as you can market, you should market, right?
Okay.
Marketing's creating the desire for your services where it didn't necessarily exist, right? I don't know you exist, but now I'm gonna show you I exist and create the desire for what I am offering, right? You can never market too much, right? So when you talk about luxury service providers, you always want to think, almost really in any business that you're in, but who shares your ideal client? That's just a good marketing principle, right? If there's someone else, some other business person, some other entity that shares your ideal client, then it may be good to do a joint venture or strategic partnership with someone like that. So, for example, there's a local fishmonger here. It's the best fish market in Charlotte. Very high end, super expensive. But I know my ideal client goes there, right? And a wine shop. It's actually right next door to that place. And there's a gourmet food shop across the street. It's in a nice neighborhood, right? And so these three places are there. And so I know my ideal clients frequent those three places, right? So if I want to have a strategic partnership, I may do something. And this is high level right here, right? But I may do something where I'm throwing a pop-up dinner. I'm throwing one of my Maddie's Front Porch pop-up dinner series. And I want to serve halibut. I'd like to get halibut from you, and then I'd like to get wines paired from you. Here's the menu. And I'm going to invite an influencer to this dinner. And they're going to ask people to follow you, and follow me in order to have a chance to win, this basket I'm putting together from the gourmet shop across the street, right? So all three of those businesses are, interested and invested because this influencer, this local Charlotte influencer that tells people where to eat in Charlotte has, 150,000 followers who are probably foodies in Charlotte because they're following the where to eat in Charlotte person, right? And so this person is going to be a guest, free ticket at my event. And then I'm going to bring in the fine food place, the wine place, the fish marketplace. And why would they donate anything? Or why would they want to be a part of it? Because at the end of the day, if we're doing a giveaway of something and you get to sit with your favorite influencer and have dinner with 12 guests, right? Then you're going to enter your email to be able to win a chance to come to that dinner, right?
Right.
And so we may get 30,000 emails of local foodies who love elegant dining experiences. That's how you leverage, and then the fish market is going to send it out to their email list. So the Petite Philippe, sorry, I said their name. The wine shop's going to send it to their email list. The gourmet food shop's going to send it to their email list because we're like kind of all in this together at this point. That's called a joint venture or strategic partnership. You can partner with realtors who are offering like the high-end homes, like the good, you'll know the ones in your town that are selling the $1 million homes or what have you. They often give a closing gift to their client. And what better gift to give when someone's in transition, moving in the house than a week of meal prep? Wow. Even if you don't really do meal prep, you know what I mean? Like a week of meal prep, and then you go in or a candlelight dinner for two for the couple, or whatever the case may be. And the realtor can always use you for that. But now you're being exposed to these people in these neighborhoods. So I teach a whole. I have a whole list of what I call strategic partnership opportunities that are super fruitful. It's just unique and imaginative marketing to go after people or to partner with people who share the same ideal client that you have.
You dropping some gems, Chef.
I mean, I'm really trying to I'm telling you, I'm not a gatekeeper, you know? Like I want women to take over this industry. I want people to succeed. I want to see when I finally sit down somewhere, I want to look at the map and see all these little red dots of all the people who I helped create multiple 6-figure personal chef businesses. And then I think I can go sit down somewhere. You know what I mean? But I think it's due to us. I mean, women are kind of like always been known as like the cooks, right? But then in the restaurant industry, it's like men just like step to the front of the line and they're like, they get the James Beard Awards and the Michelin star restaurants. But to be honest, they can have it. Look, I mean, I don't want it. You know what I mean?
Uh,
I don't want long work hours and, toxic work environments and,
mm-hmm.
high divorce rates and high suicide rates and high, I mean, it is what it is. It's a grueling thing. And for women in that industry, it's really, it's really tough. Right. And so, so I don't want the restaurant industry, but what I'm saying is women can reclaim their place, as the cooks, as the people who are known for being nurturing and caring for people with their food, in in a high end capacity where you're really getting paid what you're worth. And I do it because I love it, but I also get so much pleasure out of saying my mother's name, saying my grandmother's name, saying my great grandmother's name at these dinner parties. I wrote about them in my cookbook because they were really my original culinary instructors, and like many black women in this country, if you're African American in this country, especially I'm 50 years old, 3 generations back, your matriarch was a slave.
Right.
Let's just say it what it is, right? And then probably a sharecropper or a domestic worker in the generation after that. And then my mom was the first person that had an office job in our matriarchal lineage, right? And then me. So it's like they couldn't get it. They couldn't get what was really due them. They didn't get the money for their work. They didn't, and they were the most. My grandmothers were the most classy women. My grandmother's the one that taught me that you serve people with honor and respect. That you serve, like serving people is an honor and it's a noble thing, right? And she had the most etiquette, the most refined person in almost any room would be Maddie Audrey, right? And Mabel Meacham, my mom, right? So, but they didn't get the due for it, right? They didn't get it. So let's go get it. Let's go get it here right now. You know what I mean? Let people look around 5 years from now and say, wow, when did black and brown women take over the personal chef industry? Yeah, it was intentional. My favorite word.
So you're building a legacy here.
A legacy is a movement. It's a
continuing
movement.
A legacy.
It's a movement. It's a chef that needs to move and continuing, preserving my family legacy.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
You are watching this because you know there has to be more. You're tired of cooking your heart out without seeing it in your bank account. Maybe you're thinking you need a culinary degree or that you'll have to work 80-hour weeks in a restaurant first. I'm here to tell you that that's simply not true. I was just like you, stuck in a corporate job at 40 years old, dreaming of turning my passion for cooking into something more. Now I run a $500,000 a year personal chef business, and I've been featured in Forbes magazine and Ebony and even on the Food Network. But here's what really matters most. I've helped hundreds of other passionate cooks just like you do the same thing. No culinary degree required, no crazy hours, just a proven system that works. That's why I created the 5-step personal chef kickstart strategy. This guide breaks down exactly how to build a business that gives you freedom, create experiences clients can't resist, craft an irresistible online presence, land your first high-paying clients, and start making money doing what you love. No fluff, no theory, just the exact steps I used to build my business and that my students are using right now to build theirs. Click the link in the description below to get the 5-step personal chef kickstart strategy. Do not let another day go by wondering what if. Your future as a successful personal chef starts right now.
What services or specializations tend to command higher rates, and how can chefs develop expertise in these areas?
Private high-end dinner parties. People love to entertain. They have an amazing home, an amazing lawn with a putting green, and an amazing pool. They spend a lot of time. They curated this. They curated the cellar and the wine in their cellars, and they want to show their home. They want to show it. They want to entertain. They want to have people over. And so private in-home dining experiences by far is the most profitable service that we offer as personal chefs. And honestly, for me, it's the most fulfilling. That's just a personal opinion because I get to be there as part of a celebration and really important moments in people's lives and all of that. But just by virtue of what it is, the high end or the multi-course private dinner
Mm-hmm.
parties, um, and vacation chef services. If people are going out, it doesn't have to be necessarily a high end client. It's just a high ticket kind of service. So when people are going to rent these big vacation homes, whether it's on a lake or a beach or in the mountains for skiing, and you get this big home that sleeps 16, 18 people,
Mm.
and they're not cooking. They ain't trying to shop,
Right.
cook, do the dishes for 16, 18 people. Some of these
Right.
houses, I know you've been out to the Outer Banks, and them
Mm-hmm.
houses sleep like 32 people.
Yep, sure do.
You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
then somebody's got to take turns and do rounds trying to like
Mm-hmm.
cook, or maybe they hire a chef. But hiring a chef is really the solution
Mm-hmm.
to that. And it's just like cooking for your own family. You're not really doing high end
Mm-hmm.
food at that point. You're just trying to get attention to eat food. They want lasagna, salad, whatever. So, but those are high ticket,
Mm-hmm.
jobs, right? And so, but my more wealthy clients who are long time clients will absolutely ask us to go on vacation with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll get us our own condo or our own hotel room,
Okay.
and just come along with our family. They know, like, and trust
Mm-hmm.
me, and so they're like, yeah, can you please send someone down to this island, to this place, and cover transportation, cover hotel. And
Well,
so it's those are the two services I would say would lend themselves more to the high end client.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. How has your approach to finding high-paying clients evolved as your reputation has grown? And what advice would you give to chefs just starting this journey?
I'll be, I mean, I always say this. I'll be honest,
Mm-hmm.
because I always am. It's that, sometimes I'll go into people's homes and they have no idea I've ever been on the Food Network. They have no idea I've ever been in magazines or what have you, because I don't lead with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go in telling people, well, I cook for this celebrity and this actress and this actor and that ball player. I just don't lead with those things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my brand speaks for itself,
Mm-hmm.
and so I focus on that. Focus on
Mm-hmm.
building my brand to represent the way that I want it to be perceived, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I'm saying is I actually don't use like any kind of like clout in that regard. So even if you're brand new, which most of my clients are brand
Uh-huh.
new,
Mm-hmm.
when you have that web presence and you have that confidence, it could even be that, like, wow, you don't seem like you've been in business very long. I
Mm-hmm.
teach them how to overcome that objection. Like, seems like you knew this business. How do I know that you can,
Mm-hmm.
handle this? Well, this venture is new for me, but I've been cooking for 35 years and cooking for people and entertaining. But this is a new venture for me. But I trust, you can trust that this and this and this. But you see the website, they see other things. You're painting the picture of what it is that you are and what you're going to provide. And that, honestly, to me, is the most important thing. Your personal brand, packaging yourself and your services up
Mm-hmm.
to present it in a way that is going to be attractive to that high end client.
Okay.
Sometimes people think, oh, well, you got a lot of followers, and I'm telling you, my local Charlotte clients, they don't have no idea I have 300,000 followers. They're not on Instagram, right? They know me, but just from my local, I guess, maybe reputation, or the fact that they Googled and saw it,
Mm-hmm.
in front of them. Like, wow, this place, and it's all African American women. They love to support that, and it happens to also, guess what, be the best in Charlotte. So I would focus more on delivering the quality experience and presenting yourself as the solution, and let those customers find you.
Okay. Well, a quick question. How did you get to 300,000?
300,000.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean?
Followers.
Oh, cooking videos.
Yeah.
Doing cooking videos. I had the 300. It's 200,000 on TikTok, 100,000 on Facebook, and like $14,000 on Instagram. The Instagram followers largely, I think, follow me for my coaching and tips on business, whereas the Facebook and the TikTok were following me from cooking videos, which started during the pandemic. To be honest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Doing
remember those
cooking
videos.
posting, doing my basic shit series and my sauces series and all that. I plan to do more cooking content as soon as I miss it. It was fun. It's just like the editing and all that was not fun, but I have
Mm-hmm.
somebody helping out with that now, so I'll be able to do cooking videos. But that's honestly, like, none of that had any impact on my local business
Mm-hmm.
because my ideal clients aren't on those platforms.
Right.
Um, my cookbook sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
that directly ties in. My
Mm-hmm.
cookbook sales, right, driven by those followers. So leveraging that. I'm not saying you can't. You can certainly leverage it, but it might be for a different purpose. It might
Yeah.
not be to actually draw people into your local business.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to leave with the people? Any more gems or nuggets that you'd like to
Well,
drop pertaining to
high-end clients.
how to find high-paying clients?
I mean, the nature of attraction in and of itself is that
Mhm.
you have to be attractive,
Mm.
right? So we're going to attract high-end clients.
Mhm.
How do you make yourself attractive?
So
to a high-end client?
let's hit that a little bit.
Okay.
As far as saying you have to be attractive, because some people are going to think that you're talking about
I'm not talking about looks
beauty.
whatsoever.
Right.
Thank you for pointing that out. You need to make yourself a magnet
Mm.
for high-end clients.
Mhm.
You need to make yourself a magnet. So it's all of the steps. It's all of the things. It is crafting a high-end menu. It is presenting a website.
Mhm.
Even the name of a business. Sometimes I have to coach these, ladies. If it's like your service is called Lick 'em Up personal chef service. Some people they're not gonna hire. They're not gonna hire you just because of that name. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Or a logo that looks, a little too, a little too crazy. I mean, I'm just, I'm just gonna say,
Mhm.
you have a high end look, a high end branding, high end language, high end menu. And now I do want to say this. I'm so glad that you brought that up because it made me think of this. And I want to say this: you don't have to be someone you're not, right? To be successful. You can be authentically yourself,
Uh-huh.
and also, these things can coexist, right? So when people look at my website, for example, at heartandsoulchef.com and my local business, and see all the photos and the photography there, of the events, it's like, oh man, it might seem like fancy, or I can't play like that or whatever. But when you really just look at the food, it's deviled eggs. I got a smoked salmon deviled egg and a hot honey, a fried chicken skin and hot honey deviled egg. I mean, deviled egg is just about as country as you can get. It's the way I plate it, the way I pipe it, and the way I present it. Because I'm still going to tell the story about how I used to help my mom prepare for these dinner parties and doing all these deviled eggs, right? And how I got, the peeling of the deviled egg. So I tell the stories behind it, but it's a deviled egg, right? When I gave the example about, I think in another episode I gave an example about the salmon patty, I'm not sure, but the salmon patty versus salmon croquette, I was talking about the naming difference, but also it's how I choose to plate it. I choose to plate it, but it's still, we would have salmon patties or salmon cakes or salmon croquettes, whatever one you call it, just on a Wednesday night at home. I'm on a weeknight dinner, made with canned salmon, a little celery, onions, some breadcrumbs in there, and an egg, and that's one of the best things. That's one of my favorite things. One of my son's favorite things to this day, right? But if I can just put that in a nice center of a plate with a nice sauce around it, nice little piece of this dill in there, so put a nice fresh dill on top. Oh, now it looks like it belongs in a Michelin-star restaurant. But it's still my food. It's still my grandmama's food. It's still it's the same thing. I take my grandmother's cream cheese pound cake, griddle it on either side, make a nice toffee sauce in the pan, drizzle it with blackberries, and then tell the story about my grandmother and this pound cake and the handwritten recipe that we still have, that I made. I made dish towels for all of my siblings, all of my sisters, with that handwritten recipe on there. And so you're having this cake right now. This is the recipe.
So how important are the stories?
The stories that's what makes it an experience. It's all part of it. Because, as I always say, people are gonna, of course, they're going to smell the food. They're going to see the food. They're going to taste the food. They're going to get the textures. All of their senses are involved. But when I go into their heart and their deep subconscious and connect them emotionally and bring nostalgia into it, they start thinking about back to their grandmama and when times were, we used to sit around and eat dinner around the table, and you start bringing that nostalgia in there. And now I've got you emotionally connected to the dish. Now we've elevated things to a whole nother level. And so people, they might not remember exactly what you made, although my clients do remember what I made.
Yeah.
They remember the exact dish that I made. They will
Yeah.
tell me, like, 3 years ago we had the halibut, and 2 years ago we had the steak. They remember the food, actually.
Yeah, I remember. I remember what I had at the first pop up that you did in
Raleigh.
Yep, I showed. Now I don't have the description that you had, but I do remember the salmon. I remember the was the Dr. Pepper oxtails or Dr. Pepper collard greens.
No, we did the oxtail. I did the oxtails.
Yeah, the oxtails. There were collard greens. There was the and I don't even eat corn. But you had some in this little bowl that was some kind of corn. What was that?
I think it was a fresh corn chowder.
Yep.
We had the orange tarragon king crab. I remember that. I remember that dinner. I have pictures of it on the website.
Yeah.
So any of those things I can tell a story about. I can tell a story about going up to the summer to Maryland in the summers to my aunt's house in the summers, just spend the summers there. And that's where I fell in love with crab, and cracking crabs and being covered in butter and lemon, and and just telling that story, and but these dishes, my point is, these dishes aren't like I have to learn how to make some, or I gotta do some kind of pate with something that's not. I'm gonna be authentic to me. I'm just going to reimagine it. I'm just gonna reimagine the dish and the plating, the presentation of it, so that it is a high-end dish. It looks high-end. Of course, it's going to taste amazing. And then I still have my story to it because it's authentic to me.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be somebody you're not. You don't have to learn some other type of cuisine. You can make whatever you do. You do Cajun Creole cuisine. You do Southern, Low Country, Gullah Geechee, Texas barbecue. I had a guy who was a pit master, and he lived in Connecticut. Lives in Connecticut. In the winter times, he can't do his pitmaster thing. So I taught him, or we formulated a product, which was like a dinner party, a fancy dinner party, where he just brought the flavors, the smoke, into that menu. So he was able to be who he was as a pitmaster guy, but elevate it in the wintertime, indoors, with still those smoky flavors. So it was like, and so he could work year round.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. The creativity is I mean, it's just cool, and you have an unlimited supply of your creativity. So so you're always able to create something that's going to blow people's minds and keep them coming back. And really, when you deliver an 11-star experience, you will attract 11-star clients.
Yeah. Well, this was awesome. Again,
I love it. This is my favorite subject. All of just talking about food and business and how you make the thing that you're passionate about your actual work that's just my favorite thing. So I'm super excited. Thank you, Cynthia.
Yeah, thank
for
you,
the
Chef
conversation, allowing me to talk about my favorite
Absolutely.
things.
Thank you. A lot of good information in there. That's not just things that are related to food, but like I said before, some life lessons. Yeah, some life lessons. Really, truly, some basic principles of connection and just networking, and it's truly a gift that you have.
Thank you.
And we are blessed that you're so willing to share it. So I appreciate it. And
thank
I'm
you.
sure a lot of others do as well. So with that being said,
yes,
tell the people how they can get in touch with you.
Yes. Well, I am at Chef Lisa Brooks on all platforms, but here on this channel, thank you for watching this episode. You can find all the details of how to reach me and get information on my products down in the description. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode.